It's 4 o'clock and a little after though, so
Beautiful
I
farmland.
think some others are coming, maybe 1 or 2, but we could start at 4 and they'll catch up with us, okay? Okay, so we all leave when we want to leave and all that stuff. Okay, we have an agenda, and tell me as we go along here, remind me to look down at mine because I have notes by everything, and sometimes I skip right past my notes and go home and say, I didn't even say anything about that. So ask me, did I ask you about something or something like that? Anyway, the first item on our agenda, I don't think this should be, I wanted to say that Shannon sent me an email. Did he send anybody else an email? And he said he's resigned, and I don't know if he should be considered part of the, where's that? Forum or not.
He resigned?
Call the meeting order and
Oh,
what meeting is.
oh
today's.
gosh.
What?
Okay, this is a meeting of the Urban Forestry Advisory Board, and the day's date is October something or another, October 12th. And the meeting's just to be coming to order. And as I was saying before we start our agenda, I had been concerned a little bit if we'd have a full quorum here, and that's why I brought this letter that Shannon sent of his resignation, but it may not be official if he sends it to me. So, but it's maybe a moot point. I mean, maybe we'll have him send it to you or give it to you, and that'll make it official. But he said he's not finishing his term that would have ended in December, so I guess that means immediately. He says, thanks for your guidance and support. Leslie, he's not been feeling well in these last months of pregnancy, and I won't have a sign for the tree farm. I think he meant for our celebration of trees. This has been an educational experience for me, and I'm sorry for any inconvenience I've caused. Good luck with all your endeavors. That's what he says. So I'd like to know why, and I did email him twice to say, come and talk to us, and we'd like to talk about it, all of us together, but he never even emailed back, so I guess that's the end of that. So. Anyway, so now, the minutes, did anyone get a chance to see the minutes, read the minutes, and do they have any suggestions or corrections for corrections or changes?
I just glanced over them, I didn't notice anything out of,
You want to come up here so we can, or not really, it'll be okay.
oh, you want me to come up there so
Sure.
they aren't
Sure.
filming my back? Okay.
Yes, that'd be good.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes.
Oops, I had to see a couple of
Oh,
things I noticed.
sorry, I didn't know.
Ask me questions. Let's see, one of them was that Cindy was here, and she said she was, I think the minute said something about she was having some she was making some brochures on invasive species. And she's actually already created those brochures, and she's just having more printed. So I think that's really what the minute should say. And that was in 7A. And then 7C, I think the minute said sour wine, said that the tree farm, or the tree ceremony, what is 7C? Number 2. He said it should be a broad-based, I think it said it should not be a broad-based effort. The tree celebration, tree awards, I think, you see what I'm saying there, Allison, is that?
Where is this? 7B?
7C.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it might be 2.
There we go.
If my notes are any good.
Oh,
I don't know. What does it say? And then we can.
shouldn't have a broad base.
Shouldn't have a broad base, and I'm pretty sure he meant it should have a broad base, didn't you?
Sure.
You got that impression
Yeah,
from his talking?
Sure.
So that's all. That's all on that. So.
Now I would make a motion to approve the minutes.
As possibly amended?
Yes.
Anybody?
I second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed? No. So they're accepted as submitted. The second item on our agenda is the native plant presentation, and I didn't get notice from anybody else that they wanted to give a native plant presentation. Did anybody bring an idea about one? Thought about one?
I did not.
And my thought is, I haven't done it either, so I have no business saying, why don't somebody bring one? I was gonna say that I will bring one next time, and then after that, if we decide at that time, or even now, that we want to stop doing that for a while, that's okay. Or whether somebody wants to sign up and do it another time, that's fine. And what, you guys have something you want to say on that subject now, or do you want to wait till next time to talk about it? About whether we have a presentation of a native plant?
Well, sure, I think we should continue, because, you know, and then if there's a gap where somebody forgot, then we'll just do it the next time. But yeah, I think it's something it's a nice continuation until we run out of plans to talk about.
All righty, we hope that doesn't ever happen. In the Arkansas trees and shrubs, there are probably 100 or something, so. Okay, so I will try to do that next time.
So that will be you.
Yep, it will be me. Does anybody else want to take the next time? Next time is November. We have a meeting in December. We do meet in December, so anybody want to plan it now or not at all? Or
Let's wait till after you.
all right.
You're taking it in November?
Yep. This is,
So the next one will be December after that.
yes,
Okay.
I didn't say it right. Probably. Okay.
Were you volunteering for
I
this?
just
Yeah,
wanted
I'm
to
fine
sound
doing
it.
it. I can volunteer to do it.
There you go.
Please remind me.
Okay.
It's 2 months, that's.
December.
I know, it's a long time.
I'll try to remember. I mean, I have you on this
Next
list
meeting,
now.
We'll put it in the
I'm sure
minutes.
we'll bring it up.
Right, put it in minutes and read them.
Oh, that's the other hard part. Okay, and then the celebration of trees flyer information. There's several things to talk about in the celebration of trees, and we've been, you brought an example of, it's been,
I cut it out, yeah.
it's
It's a
been.
good thing I noticed it in the paper, because I forgot it was this weekend.
Yeah, you put it in the paper twice, haven't you, at least, or?
I think
Okay.
so, yeah. It's on the website, it's on the main, hopefully it's on the main page now.
Okay.
It should be a good weekend for it. It looked like the temperature
weather's
is
gonna be
gonna be
gorgeous.
nice and sunny and
Yeah.
really pretty, so it'd be a
Yes.
great time for it.
Definitely.
Okay, there's a couple of things to say about that. One is that, as Chris said in his letter, that we'd given him some little name tag templates to make, he was gonna make some more name tags for us. And his wife Leslie was gonna make a sign. I don't know if we need the sign or not, but we probably do need name tags. Any suggestions about how to get that accomplished? They were little green paper, I don't remember what you call that, kind of construction paper or something, and you would just put a straight pin and you'd have your name on if you came and put your name on for that day. We might say Urban Forestry Advisory Board on there or something like that, so people would know that we are doing that thing for them. So anybody want to?
Like when we did the tree farm, we had those.
Yeah, we have those
I
little,
may still
they're
have
shaped
mine
like a
somewhere.
tree. You may have some.
I may have mine.
Oh, you Could you make a,
Would
could you
you
make a
want
stencil?
to?
And,
What's that?
it would be nice to have one as a stencil. I wish I had kept that one. I gave those to Sean last time.
Yes, you did. Surely I could get a hold of him, but it'd be hard to get a hold of you to get a hold of that. I mean, we could make it as a little shape.
Well,
I'll
even
look
if
for
we
it.
just,
I mean, I keep on saying it, but it's one of those things, you see it all, for a month and then the day you look for it, you can't find it, so I will look for it.
even if we just had a little stick-on thing and had some
Yeah.
kind of emblem and we could write our name in.
Sure.
I mean, is now the time to actually talk about, who's showing up when and that kind of thing?
Sure, I think so.
It would be a good time since it's happening this week.
You're right on.
Yeah.
But let's get the name tags figured out first. Does anybody have some in stock? Do we have some in a drawer somewhere, name tags? Stick on.
We probably have name tags that we're.
We probably
already
have
stick
just
on.
plain
Stick on, peel off.
Those are good.
That'd be fine,
I'm sure
really.
we have something.
Yeah.
I'm sure we do.
Would one of you?
We can bring those.
Or one of you, are either, that's a good question. Who's coming to this occasion?
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna come, I'm supposed to go camping with my son, it's Camporee weekend. I don't know what Camporee is, but it's a big camping deal
Boy
for the
Scouts.
scouts. Supposed to go to that, and I'm also supposed to work on Saturday, but I think I'm gonna have to not work on Saturday, take off, I haven't told my boss yet, so I don't think I can make it, I want to, but it's just one of those weekends, son wants me to camp with him, so
Okay,
it's a big deal, it's a big camping weekend for the whole year.
okay.
Well, I've got a number of questions. We should get there at 6 a.m. and then
6:30.
or 6:30.
It takes a while to unload all of those
Okay.
plans
6.
and get everything situated.
Should we bring gloves or anything like that to it?
Mhm, I would. Makes it
Okay,
easier.
and just meet like in front of the town center? Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll presumably work till by noon usually they're gone, right? I mean, you think it'll be such that if a person has to go to the bathroom or wants a cup of coffee, that one person can run off for a few minutes?
I think that will be.
cover you.
Okay.
If it was signed, excuse.
However, that first hour is pretty hectic.
It's good.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never-
Obviously,
I've
we
never been on
need
that
proof
side,
of
but-
Fayetteville residency,
Standing
right?
in line.
That's, okay. But how many trees can they have? I mean, we're not gonna just let somebody haul off a dozen trees, are we? I mean,
No, usually, I think this year we have enough that we can let people take 2 trees and 1 shrub.
okay,
Because we have fewer
Trees and
shrubs.
1 shrub.
okay.
We have one,
2 trees
fewer
and 1
shrubs.
shrub.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and there might be a few set aside so that if we want a couple ourselves, we can do
I
that.
would get them first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Stash.
And be sure they're somewhere, because sometimes they disappear, like if you put it somewhere,
Yeah.
then they have a tendency
So
to.
Maybe
walk
bring
off.
some ribbon, I'm gonna bring, maybe, I just thought of it, some colored ribbon and tie around it and with our names on it, or maybe I'll bring ribbon for
For
all that
what are you
time.
talking about?
You know, I've got some of that ribbon we put on the tops of trees when we plant them out, I could bring a roll of that, we could tie ours around, our, whatever we decide, and each,
Oh, our
put
personal
our
trees.
names on it,
Okay.
put them in like in a corner somewhere,
Mhm.
might work.
That might be good. Okay. Well, I plan to be there.
Great.
So there's 1, 2, 3, so there's
I'm
5.
I'm gonna make my husband work, so there's.
Oh, I
there's
was gonna
additional-
ask, and we can bring others if we want, not that I have
Oh,
anybody. but-
absolutely,
Oh,
yes.
I'm also working to get, typically the student chapter of the ASL, of the American Society of Landscape Architects helps out.
Okay.
And I think that's been more of a function of the tree giveaway being in the spring, but, they're trying to round some troops to help us out this year too.
Oh, that'd be really
What about the
great.
horticulture club too?
I've not contacted them, I could do that as well. And then we'll have some of our staff there as well, Connie will be there. And
Do you want me to ask the master gardeners, or you want to call me if you need help?
Oh, well, I'll call, yeah, let me see how many, students we're gonna have, and I'll call the horticulture club and,
Okay.
yeah, and see where we're at.
Okay. There's something else I wanted to say about that or ask about that. I looked on the, Allison and Melanie, I don't know who, but they made up information about each of the types of trees that's going to be handed out with each of the trees. And they posted it online, so I got to look at one of them as an example. But I've been advocating for getting some way to get a message out to the people that why we chose native trees. So they would, because I think this is the first year we've actually chose native trees.
Well, are you going to distribute a description of the trees like you always do?
Mm-hmm, those are the flowers that Nancy
We're
is
talking
Are they
about.
prepared already?
for the most part.
But she can alter them.
Maybe they could be put on there.
You've got the exact, you're right on the way. Allison told me that if I can get her information quick enough and you guys happen to approve it, she can stick some information on each of
Okay.
those. And I have another friend, Julie, 2 doors down, that we were talking about she was showing me a tree she got from the city of Fayetteville, and who else was saying that you got dogwoods from the, and she still got her paperwork. I mean, people keep this paperwork and they read it once in a while, so anyway. So I was, just look at this and you can certainly make suggestions, but this is an idea of something.
We don't pass.
Oh, yeah. They've got plenty, they're all the same, I think. Okay, let's see what Allison is. Going back to me.
Good.
Would you like to change it along that?
Oh, I could.
Yeah, this is good.
The Urban Forestry Advisory Board selected native trees and shrubs to give away this year because they should be easy to grow and maintain, will reflect our town's unique setting as a city on the edge of the Ozarks, and because many pollinators, birds, and other wildlife depend only on the native plants they evolved with for food and habitat. We encourage residents to Google why native plants to learn more. We also encourage residents to eliminate use of invasive plants like privet, bush honeysuckle, and English ivy because they crowd out native plants and inhibit the transition from spring to summer to fall native plants that our wildlife depend on.
What about, that second paragraph, what about crossing off use of, in other words, so it would just be to eliminate invasive plants as opposed to eliminate use of invasive plants?
Great.
Because then
Right.
it would encourage them to actually get rid of some that they already have, you
That's
know.
perfect. And there's some, I don't really like this wording, inhibit the transition from spring to summer to fall. And I thought of board putting seasonal in there somewhere. Did you know what I'm trying to say there? Can you think of it?
Actually, I haven't looked at that part.
Mm.
They inhibit no, I'm confused by that.
Well, in the spring, there's some plants that like the violets and all the little woodland plants that come up. I mean, there's some animals and birds. And in the summer, there are others. And in the fall, there are other things that come up in a seasonal way. But in the woods, if they've got bush honeysuckle and ivy, nothing comes up, and vinca minor comes up under that. It inhibits the whole cycle. So, I don't know, I was trying
Why
to.
don't seasonal transition?
Yeah, why don't you just say, and inhibit the seasonal transition of native plants?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That would make more sense. This is.
And
a
just,
little-
and just skip the spring, summer, fall.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because seasonal will covers
Right.
that.
Okay. Got that, Allison? No, well, this, I hesitated giving you so much, I didn't know it would possibly fit on what you have.
Well, we'll get it on there. It's good, make it work.
Alrighty, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so you guys think it's okay? We'll just go with it, no motions and all that. Let's see. Good, okay. Okay. Okay, and then down under subcommittee, we should also say somewhere along the way here that Allison and I both have emailed the person about the Firewise thing that was gonna, someone was gonna come and talk to us this time.
Yeah.
They never got back to us anyway, so I think we're just gonna lay low until we hear from IAM.
Yeah, I'll contact him again for
Okay.
next month and see.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just talking about general business here and we'll get on through, but let's see, the subcommittee reports, public education and outreach. That's the only thing we had going on that for a while there is that James and I were going to work on a PowerPoint presentation, but James, let me tell you that Cindy emailed me a great idea. She saw that I was in the minutes or somewhere that we were doing this, trying to do it. And she said, well, why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? She said, Don Steinkraus has a really good one on that subject. And Don Steinkraus came 2 Tuesdays ago to help get the invasives out, and he's become we had to fill out an application to be friends of the native plant thing, and he said he'd be the co-sponsor. So he's into that big time, he's interested in that. And he said I asked him then, could we get together with you on your PowerPoint and include stuff we think of and stuff he thinks of? And he said, sure, but he's traveling for the next 2 or 3 weeks, but in about 3 weeks we'll definitely meet and try to get together and use it. And if you've seen his PowerPoint, it's really good. It talks, but we have some good points I think we can stick in there too, so. I'll keep you posted on that, but it will happen,
So you're saying you can use what he already has as a sort of basis, but add your own stuff to it?
Or he would even, I had a little outline that I liked of my own, but he might like our outline, and between the two of us, we may come up with something. I said we want to make a PowerPoint, as I call it, a dog and pony show, that any one of us could just pick up and take to a community meeting or anywhere, and he liked that idea because if we're going to do an ongoing invasive species campaign, more than one person is going to have to be involved in it, and it needs to go out to a lot of people. And I did mention to him, I think someone else said this, that if we ever do get a good PowerPoint created that we've all liked, that you would see it first and decide if you like it and we can change it. But then we would put it up on a city website, and then we'd have somewhere to allude to when we give information about, learn about invasive species, go to da-da-da-da and see the PowerPoint presentation.
That could be a library
Yeah, it could be a lot of,
presentation.
maybe that could be too, yeah. So he's done one at the library, but this would be
With this one?
no, the one he has, he's done. That was one of our show, with about the second show we did this year, or the first show.
Yeah,
I think it was the first show.
Cindy was the second.
Was that here?
I don't think so. Might not. I don't know. But it is available to be seen because this man put it on the internet for us. I mean, it is on YouTube. You can see it on YouTube. Got his version of it. The other thing to say is that we are having, I don't know if, part of what I was trying to do was I asked Allison if she wouldn't mind putting our invasive species brochure on the internet so that we could refer to it when we handed out this little snippet of information. But she and some others in the city have concluded, actually her boss, Connie Edmondson, and Allison and others, that it might be a little, you can speak for yourself on that if you want to.
Sure.
Say what you thought.
The content is really good, but we felt that some of the language, and I think Cindy mentioned it when she brought those out too, is a little bit harsh because it says, kill this, and so we
Kill
just
without
not sure that
mercy.
was totally appropriate to put on the city website. I think we just could change a few of the words, then it would be fine.
Well, but in the case of privet, I would say use an atomic bomb.
Right.
Oh, dear.
Another thing we probably wouldn't put on there.
So, are you telling me though that you guys are willing to do the work takes to change the words and put this up as it is, or do you need some of us to try to go through it, or what are you
I
telling
don't know
us?
what kind of format that's in or what program it was created in, if we have the resources to do that or not.
I don't either. Cindy might be here, but we'll get her to
Okay,
email you on that subject.
okay.
You don't have this as electronic copy?
Just
I
have
bet
an
there is.
HTML.
I bet there is.
Well,
We have
Cindy
PowerPoint,
must
I
have
bet.
it.
Yeah, she sent it to me in a PDF.
So I'll say that looks
Oh,
pretty,
okay,
yeah.
that's-
Yeah.
Well,
so it probably
sometimes you can do
was
a tool, you can do copy and paste, you can take some of the stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
You might be, depending on if it's house 7.
So we'll tell Cindy this concern and see how she can they can just work with it between them maybe, if that'd be okay. And as soon as you get that on the website, we can start using it to refer people to, so that'd be good.
Nancy,
Yes,
I put that online, it's in JPEG format.
You
months
did?
ago when- Yeah, I can't tell you where it's stored right now, it's on one of the sites, probably
okay.
Northwest Arkansas Environment Central .blogspot.com. But you have to scroll way down,
Okay.
because it's got new stuff all the time.
Well, that's good to know, but still, as a city committee, if it's not, we probably wouldn't be able to allude to it as a group here, but individually,
Individually.
let people know if we can have the opportunity. Oh, the second thing is the tree farm. Has anybody got anything to say about the tree farm idea?
Just go over here to the money to buy the trees.
But like I mentioned earlier, I still think we need to all go to the tree farm that they have at the university and see the, I think that's about 11 years old. And it borders 540. But it'd be really, well, like if you're heading out to Highway 112 exit to Garland exit, on the right before you get to that exit, right before the fairgrounds, you'll see some lines of trees. And those have been there about 11 years, but it'll give us an idea if you start with a sapling, that's how big the trees would be in 11 years. And, you know, we can make a decision, would those be large enough at that point after 11 years to put on as a tree?
And we need to know how they were
Street
grown,
tree.
if they're anything like the way we've grown, because if they aren't, we couldn't really compare them, could we, or, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I don't see how you would drastically do anything differently than what they did.
Okay.
As far, I mean, you know, they're put in this region, in this area, and for 11 years, that's
The size.
what that's the size that you get. And they have all different kinds of trees. They have the ones that grow in the moist areas, the dry areas, the riparians, I mean, you know, they have trees of every kind in that area.
Are they
But that
starting
would be-
some now? Do they have them in process right now out there?
They're 11 years old.
I mean, but do they have some other, are there others like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year and all that?
No,
Just
they
those?
were all planted at one specific time, and that's where they are now.
Okay.
Are they going to harvest them?
No,
Okay.
they're still babies. No, they were putting them there to see how the different, we'll have to go to the website or go to the people that actually put this together. But they were setting up a model to study about the trees growing in the different types of locations, and all the way from dry to wet, to see they just studied that particular area. And I think even one of the city trails is gonna be going through that area.
Have they published that study by any chance? That'd be an interesting one to see.
I'm sure it's, because there was a layout, there was like a landscape design of it, so there's a lot of information on it, but I would just have to contact that person, but it's out at the farm, so to speak, so it's just across the street. It's between Garland and 540, that's where the area is, kind of behind where to the side, probably the southwest corner from the Equine Center.
Is there a time you'd like to show us those trees?
Don't know when, but yeah, there's some time that we probably need to do that, but I'm covered under right now, so.
Okay,
I have no breathing room for a while.
okay. Okay, that'd be good. Did you want to say more, James?
No, I just wondered whether they were gonna harvest them or not. I mean, we could go during one of our meetings.
Yeah.
We could make a field trip. I know that's everybody's already planned to be here.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, it
Right,
would be,
that
we
would
wouldn't
be-
cover much ground. I don't know if everybody's agreeable to that. I mean, it's always hard to get us on any of the days because we're all doing things, but.
Oh, that could be one of your, probably your meeting, time that you're gonna discuss a native species.
That'd be fine.
You could show
I
us a
mean, I
lot
don't
of
think
native
the
species.
camera person could follow us. I don't know if that's necessary. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
about all that. I'm just saying that since we're all together on that day.
Right,
I mean, I know that
right.
in the past, previously when I was on the board, we did some field trips to look at things.
Yeah, that would be a good time because everybody would plan to be here on that Wednesday for the meeting, so yeah.
You have spoken with the people who planted those trees? I mean, you know who did it, who's responsible and all that?
I talked to John Murdoch, and John Murdoch
He knows.
knows the people that does those trees. so.
Okay. Just wondering, we may need like a report from you and then, you know, if you could speak with them to answer some of the other questions that we had and
Or
then,
maybe we can get one of the people that were involved.
or if they could meet, yeah, or if they could meet us. Yeah, okay.
Getting back to the tree farm, I guess at this point where we're at is the city has a piece of property that we can use out there by the old pump house road, or whatever it was called. We've talked to some people about how they did theirs, and it looks like we want to do it similar to that. We know where to get trees,
Yeah.
some trees,
Yep, yep.
for inexpensive, small saplings. We just need some money to get them. We kind of talked about how to get the pots, where to get the pots, and that sort of thing. It's just a matter of getting that sort of together.
I don't know if you were here the time I came last time with a little budget that was $700 I thought would be enough to start.
Uh-huh.
But then Shannon had some different ideas about how the tree farm should be, and we kind of didn't talk about it anymore as far as our original idea. And I know people that, all I know is one person will give $100, another organization will give us about $350 to $500, but they want someone else to be giving matching funds, so they won't be the only ones. They want to show community support for this thing. So there would be money, we could get the money, it's just, we had to get out there and make a budget and explain to people how it's gonna happen, that we really are gonna happen, who's the physical person, who are the bodies that are gonna make it happen. That's the difficult thing, of course. So,
Yeah, we didn't get too many volunteers, but maybe we could,
yeah.
during the tree work.
There is still that list of people that's professed an interest in it, but we've never actually told them that we have a budget and we can do this and that. I mean, I think if we presented a clearer picture of how it would all work, including the money part, there are probably some people that would get with us and get going on the thing. So,
I'll bet a lot of people, including all of us, have a bunch of plastic pots lying around in their garage and stuff like that, that other plants came in. I mean, it might be possible to at least get a portion of pots that we needed donated and thereby kind of recycled,
I think that's a great idea. We did talk to those men, they stayed at the tree farm meeting with us afterwards. Didn't they talk about we have to have 5-gallon buckets and they can't be old 5-gallon pickle buckets like I like
Yeah.
to use. But the thing is, those little saplings that we put out, they sure don't, maybe they don't take a 5-gallon bucket. Do you think they would or wouldn't? You think a smaller typical thing that we go home with our trees and shrubs in would work, 2 or 3 gallons, or?
Well, I
the
mean,
first
that's
year?
a thought. We start about in a gallon, but then we'd have to have gallons. I mean, we'd have to
Well,
double it.
I think that'd be a lot easier. I mean, all of us have gallons at home, maybe not all, but there are tons of people that do.
But how many trees were we thinking about? I think we thought about 1,000, is that correct?
I think
Is that
that little
too many?
budget was
Said
less.
250.
What did I say?
250? Okay, I forgot
Some
what we
small
talked about.
number.
So we'd have to have at least 250 pots. I mean, I've got maybe like
You know,
5.
if we put the word out, we needed
I mean, if they
250
put
pots.
250, we'd have to
That's
have,
a-
they kind of got to be, we can't just have all different sizes. We
No.
kind of keep them to the
No,
same
but
size, hopefully.
I bet you, I know in my basement, the master gardeners in general, if you just got the word out to about 4 lists that you needed those kind of pots, those pots would
That would
appear.
be good.
The pots are probably, if you're talking smaller than 5-gallon, I think they're possible. Those 5 gallons, I don't think they were
Yeah,
possible.
that's less likely, but.
Yeah.
Then I might have even said I was gonna maybe call some nurseries and see, like, Westwood Gardens and places like that. They might be willing to donate, because, they have a lot of pots. If you go to those places in the back, they have lots of pots.
Yeah.
Whether they wanna get rid of them or give them away as.
Especially supporting a competing
Yeah.
cause, I don't
No,
know.
we're not,
Yeah.
we compete with them at all. They think that would be
Okay.
That would be, I think.
Well, do you want to do that at first, or you want me to send the word out about, I mean, do we want to start actually doing what it takes to start the nursery, or do we want to go look at these trees, or what do we want to do next?
I think we can do both. I think we can, make some phone calls or whatever about the pods, and start
Okay.
thinking about that.
Where would we store them for the time being if we start getting some?
The city. We could store them on site. Unless we think we're going to steal them, I don't know why anybody's going to.
It's just a flat piece of ground out there in the pump house.
Yes, I'd rather find a little spot in our shop to store them than leave them out there.
Yeah, you've got a little area there by your office. I mean, they have a big area.
It's got a lot of stuff.
So-
But we could find room for some pots.
I mean, we could at least put them out there by where you have your
So,
large rocks.
We could all bring
Just
some to
area
the
spot.
November meeting.
It wouldn't take much, once you start
Should we
deciding.
start?
What, all right, you decide what size, tell us what size we
I
need. Are
need
they,
to clean up.
how would, are they just the one?
Well, let's think about this. If we start thinking about sizes, we're gonna, how many times we're gonna repot them? That's work.
Yeah.
So we've gotta go out there and do that
Yeah.
250 times. So I know it's not often, but I would imagine it would have to be done every couple of years if we're gonna do something like that, 2 or 3 years. So, I mean, I know that's not a lot of time, but we gotta think about that. I mean,
That's for
I wouldn't
sure.
wanna do it no more than twice would be the maximum I would think you'd ever wanna do that. And the trees will be fine. I mean, they don't, even if you put in 5 gallons, they'll probably be okay. I mean, probably wouldn't hurt them.
I mean, you mean as large as we can put them, they'll still probably do fine, is what you're saying? Almost as large.
5 gallons about this big.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
But they'll
they're just
probably
like
be
black
fine.
ones Or something like that. They're not like a pickle bug or tall.
And they were $44 a hundred, I think I found on the internet if you just order them. And I don't think you're gonna find a lot of people with 5-gallon pots. So we may have to use our money to order
I
them.
think I will
But-
try to remember to call Westwood Gardens and then maybe they have a suggestion.
Okay, good idea.
Because Westwood Gardens has like 4 or 5 different outlets now.
Locations.
And they may just have 250 5-gallon pots sitting around. I mean, you go, the one over on Mission in the back, I used to work there and they had lots of pots. Because they're constantly potting, repotting and stuff. So
Okay.
I don't think we get rid of those. They do tend to have a lot of pots sitting around.
Okay.
Those little black
The
plastic pots.
trees that are being given away this weekend, they are in what size pots? 1 to 3 gallon, did
What
I
does it
read?
say on there, 1 and 3?
Send her clipping back, the newspaper clipping back to Lois. It's Lois.
Oh, yeah.
So she can
But-
refer to it.
But obviously, if
I think
these
it's
trees
like-
are, they're big enough to give away, and yet they're not gonna be in 5-gallon pots.
Good point.
So,
Yeah.
I would suggest that,
I'm sorry,
you might kind of write down a plan or a process for the tree farm.
Yes.
And then kind of make a materials list and kind of, before you start collecting and storing
Yes,
things.
yes, you're so
And
right.
also, we're growing these for the city, right?
Yep.
The city has specifications
First
for tree planting trees. They've got to be a certain size. We can't plant.
2-inch caliper.
We won't, the trees we're giving away are going to be
They're-
whips,
yeah.
they're small. The city won't plant those.
No.
They've got to be a certain size, so 5 gallons is actually probably not even big enough, really, think about it. But that's a
11
start.
years.
And we did have an article from Karen Crocker that talked about the other way to do it, bare root from I don't know if you guys remember that, but there is a way to do that.
Again, bare roots,
It costs a lot of money.
And I hadn't.
It was covered
See a
with,
picture.
a bare root tree, 2-inch caliber bare root tree weighs about probably no less than 200 pounds.
what, a 2-inch caliber, okay.
200 pounds.
So is that
Person,
good or bad?
2 people. Well, I can't pick up 200 pounds.
I understand that, but if they had a pot on it, it would still be some weight, more weight, wouldn't it? Or something.
Well, if it was ball and burlap, you wouldn't have a pot, they'd be in the ground.
Okay, all right.
That's why you do it that way, so you'd have to dig it out somehow, out the ground. I think that is beyond our capabilities, to be able to handle a ball and burlap type.
Oh, I
tree.
understand, so Allison's point is well taken, we need to have a plan before we just go off.
Right.
I don't know when we can do it, are we gonna meet as a committee of the whole to do this plan? I mean, like, include it in one of our meetings sometime, or do you wanna try to make some decisions? I don't know, maybe next week when we see next month, if we go see the trees?
Who is the tree farm subcommittee?
Well, it was Shannon, James, me, and I don't know if Cindy was on it or not.
I don't think Cindy was.
Mm-mm.
Next was. Well, I will try to draw up a plan of attack.
Huh.
Just a simple step-by-step process that we can look at and either agree on or disagree, change it, what do we need to do.
Okay, deal. bring it to the next meeting?
And that way we'll have something written down. I think it's a good idea.
And you want, for our next meeting plan, try to do that walk? If not, you'll just email us back if it won't
Yeah.
work?
Yeah, I'll email you even if it will work, so you know.
Oh, both ways, okay.
Yeah.
Good. And then, okay, so we'll make a little progress maybe on that.
Well, let me
subject.
ask something real fast. I mean, I should say this, but I know it's short notice and I'm not gonna be there. But does this group wanna try to, or can we solicit funds? Are we allowed to solicit funds at our tree giveaway? Is that gonna be allowed to
Somebody
be out
mentioned
of
that
the,
last
I
time.
What was it?
No, I need to check that.
Solicit
Let me-
funds.
Oh,
because we're gonna have, how many trees are we gonna give away?
950.
So we're gonna have potentially 950 people walk up and take a tree.
I'll look into
If
that.
they give
Check
a
into
dollar
it,
each, we
because-
could even if half those people, even if a third of those people give $1,
Yeah.
that would be some monies we could use for a tree
Mhm.
farm.
You could say on the top board, city
That
tree
may be too
nursery.
quick to organize, and it may be something we can't do, because we're kind of a quasi-governmental organization here, and we may not be able to do
But we've
that.
done it before at our smaller meetings, and
Yeah.
Lois had a nice, she made a thing for us, a basket or something that you.
no.
Oh,
Oh,
Betty,
I thought you
sorry.
did it.
She-
Yeah.
she
We have
deserves
to have a
it.
treasurer,
Uh-huh.
somebody's gonna take care of that money.
We had a
Be accountable
treasurer.
for it.
But-
Well, it goes into the funds, you've
Yeah.
got,
And that's gonna be on the list. I mean, that's
Is it-
gonna be part of the list
is
for the
it
tree
legal
department,
for us
we need
to
a
do
treasurer.
that?
Yes,
We're gonna
okay.
have to have
To
money, so we're
solicit?
gonna be.
I'll
writing
double
checks.
check. I mean, it must, we,
donations?
donations.
Call it that.
Oh, it's.
We accept, I mean, the city obviously accepts donations. We have people donate things to us all the time.
Okay.
So donate, we could say donations for a tree
Donations.
farm. That would be
Strictly
Yeah.
for the creation of a tree farm for trees grown to be used by the city.
or something.
Yeah.
Allison, you just said 950 trees will be given away. I assume you mean 950 trees and shrubs? Like
That's just the trees.
That's just the trees?
Mhm,
So
There are 160, well, those are the trees that I ordered, and there are
Right.
160 shrubs that are ordered, and then we have some that are also being donated.
Oh,
So, yeah. There's quite a few.
Is there somebody that's going to screen the people that are coming before they get to the,
Yeah,
Like
we
they
usually
did
have tables
before.
set up front and someone there
Yeah.
checking
To
items.
check those?
Yes.
And the paper said two things that, okay, it says, water bill and driver's license. Both, you need both of them.
We usually try to check both, yeah. Yep.
So they'll just keep using the same water bill over and over.
okay.
Hand
But,
it-
but like if any of us know these people personally, like I just saw a friend of mine and said, you know, I think you just need anything that is proof of your Fayetteville residency, so I don't know if that means, you know, he's probably not gonna bring a water bill if he shows up.
If
But
they can-
I know where he lives, you know, so, I mean, that kind of thing.
Yeah, if they can prove that they live here, then we'll give it to them.
Almost everybody's got a driver's license, so
Yeah.
they can at least.
Betty, are you gonna bring that basket, or is this a, I mean, is it clear, do you
Still
do a
have
donations
that?
basket?
Yeah, it's in my car.
Okay, deal.
It's in
I
your
wondered
car.
if-
Sounds
It's in
good.
the
Ready.
trunk of my
It's like you had it all this time in your car.
It lives in the trunk of my car.
Well, that's nice. We appreciate that.
Sure. Do we need to construct a little blurb about what the funds are gonna be going for a tree farm for Fayetteville? Or no?
It needs to have it on there, so they'll know what the money's for.
Where are we gonna put it? Where's a good spot? Is there a good spot?
Maybe at one of the front tables, where we're checking
That's a
IDs.
good idea.
Is one enough? Because you're spread out so pretty far.
So there
Yeah.
will be a few people checking proof of residency, and then there will be other people handing plants
Yes.
out.
Right.
Okay, so we can kind of alternate so that one person doesn't get bored with doing one thing if they want a break or something.
Sure.
Okay. Are you gonna make a little thing that says for city tree nursery, or do you want one of us to do that? Say for, what are we gonna say, so for city tree farm? Donations
Donations accepted.
for city tree farm? Maybe, something like that. And the next, are we finished with tree farm pretty well?
Yes, we are.
Okay, Tree and Landscape Awards Program, and Shannon was of course heading that up, and is not here, and doesn't intend to follow through on that.
I see a nomination form there.
I had been saying to people, and Shannon included, if we just went on the internet, we could probably find a city that's been doing this and copy them and quit trying to start all over from scratch.
Yeah.
So here we are. This is an Wilmington, city of Wilmington in North Carolina, and at least each person to see what you think. Oh, those are 2 parts. Here you go. There's 2 pages. There are 2 pages. Those might be right there. I've got enough to get away here. And there's one even if Melody wants it, just like.
I always want everything.
So the award is going to be a certificate or something?
I mean, that would be up to us, it's our business, but it can't be much because we don't have any money. I was gonna say I didn't spend that $40, I used donations and things I bought, so we haven't used any of that $80-something yet for anything, but.
No, what do you worry about, the actual little certificates?
Well, she was asking about what would be the award, we've got these people.
Certificate?
You can, yeah, you can get, there are programs, and I don't have one, but I mean, maybe somebody does or knows of one that's what they do, they print out little certificates.
And put it in the paper and that's the
Yeah,
reward?
it just.
Well, that's a lovely
Yeah.
reward,
Well,
something they can post.
yes, we can give them a little 8x11 piece, certificate, and they can frame it or whatever they want to do with it. I mean, I get one every year from the city that thanks me for my volunteer service at the park and the road. So, I mean, they're really easy to do, and they're not, it's not a big deal. I mean, I think that would be plenty, and just a recognition, because,
That's
I
what
think
they
that's
want,
really
they want
what-
$5
what
or
it is.
$10 is not gonna mean anything. It's just
No,
gonna
we're
be-
not gonna give them any money.
No.
Or anything else.
At least I don't think we should.
Okay.
I think the recognition is what,
That's it.
and for gardeners, that,
And-
that's a,
And spread the word that who got it.
Right.
yeah, I don't know if they have one here, but
Yeah, they
we had talked about having them for businesses as well, which I think is something they can put up in their lobby and say,
Well, I thought, I realized and remembered he had categories of nonprofits, businesses and all that. I was thinking, well, why go to that much trouble? If we could just make sure in our heads if people submitted them, make sure they're supposed to be submitting people from all those categories or anybody you want to. And then somebody, a business might win this one and a nonprofit might win that one. And we can make sure as we're awarding them that we're trying to make sure that we've got a wide range of awardees as far as types. Or
We'll have to get his notes.
who's
He evidently has
Oh,
notes.
Shannon, well, yeah, we have them in the minutes. This is not Shannon's though, this is a city.
Oh,
This is a city over in, city of Wilmington in North Carolina is doing this. And we don't have to have it, they said up to 9, which I thought was neat. We wouldn't have to give them all out. We would give out the ones, if we came across the good examples of any of these, that would be the award. And if we don't, then we don't give an award. Or we could take some of these out, or we could combine them, or anything you want. This is a little starting point here. Not necessarily a straight across copy or anything. And you notice they have people bringing them, see the deadline was February something, I maybe saw it on another page. And then they had the awards, well, the deadline was North Carolina Arbor Day 2010, but we can do anything we want related to that, but this could actually be up and running, in the spring or whenever we want. Wouldn't be that hard to do, I don't see. They have it on their internet, on their city website, where you can I downloaded it from the city of Wilmington's website, so we could do the same thing. Anybody that we thought, we could direct people to go and get this application form off the website and nominate them and send it to a certain address, then we could meet, whoever wants to help judge this. Seems
That
like
sounds much
yeah,
simpler.
and I guess we should write this down, but maybe we could talk some of the local magazines into mentioning it in their magazine, like, what is it, Cityscapes? Isn't there another one?
Yeah.
Aren't there a couple?
Yeah, Cityscapes would be super, and even the Northwest Arkansas
Put it in the
Times.
Grapevine, or
Yeah,
wherever
the
newspapers there is
Times,
like that now.
The grapevine, that's.
We're
dating
way
yourself
back if
here.
you're right, way back.
Me too, I mean, that was a great
Just so people know about it, just kind of get the word out.
But I
what's
think
happening.
you're right, if people win this, we are, it'll be much more meaningful, the more we can get the word out to the community, the winners, and why they won, and, do them the favor of really promoting it, so they'll be coveted for the next year. Boy, I wish I'd gotten that mentioned 13 times across the broad spectrum of media, because something, so. That's something.
It ends up to be good publicity for the businesses, so.
Well, you'd hope.
Sure, yeah, and people, they love to, get awards. I know gardeners that like to show off their works. I'm gonna make a suggestion that we think about doing this sometime in the spring or later spring, because since this is the first time we're doing it.
Right, and they have, that's what
Not a
people
lot to
are
look at in
doing.
the winter. I mean,
No.
somebody has a nice perennial garden.
Good point.
You're not gonna see anything, so we may
It has to
wanna
be
think
after
about doing it when
spring.
things are blooming out a little bit.
That's a good point. I don't know why they did it in February, because that's
February.
They probably have
No.
done it, and maybe people looked at it in the fall, or maybe, they hand out these things in the summer, and then they give them out in February. We need to think about when we're gonna do that.
Okay.
If we wanna wait another year or do it, something like that, so. You would,
Wilmington it's right on the coast. It may be that they're in a slightly warmer zone. I think it's obviously east of here, but it may be a little north as well. In other words,
it's probably like zone 8, it's pretty warm there.
Everything looks best around
it's
you.
also, it's in a major hurricane zone. They have often been victims of hurricanes. I mean, they're right on the, North Carolina coast, so.
Nice. What should we do with this? Send it home and come back and talk about it some more sometime? This is just a suggestion, a first time around, and
Yeah.
we've got plenty of time to do it, but at least this.
We'll write down a plan like we're gonna do.
Let's write down a plan.
And we'll edit it as we need to, as we get comments.
Or does anybody want to, we had a tree awards committee, and that's kind of kaput too, since Shannon, I was just attending, trying to be helpful, but does anybody want to take this on, is take it home and make a little plan to suggest to the rest of us when it should happen, and what else should we know? There's not a lot to decide. When it should be happening, if there's anything different that they could suggest about these forms, or changing any of these, or where the contact should be, that kind of thing.
Well, if we're going to visit the tree farm next month,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna be back in the office on December, I suggest that we bring it up again and talk about it. Everybody just take it, look at it, and then I think at that point, we'll assign somebody to make up a list, like the tree farm list,
Okay.
a plan of
A little
action,
plan.
an action plan. And then, because again, I think that we really probably should wait till it gets warmer. And
Sounds
we can
good.
decide that then. We wanna do that, wait a year, or not wait a year.
Great,
And we can give it out in the summer, late, early summer, and whatever.
that sounds great. So we'll just take it home and mull it over and
Because
come
I-
back and get serious a little bit later on it.
This could be two of our events that happen over and over again, the tree giveaway in the fall and the awards in the spring. That'll be
Good point.
Maybe 6 months apart, that'll be our kind of, so we could, braid leaves and change the positions, something that carries on, because the tree giveaway has been going on since the 90s, I guess.
Okay.
I'm for that.
Anything else on that subject, tree and landscape awards? Any other ideas, thoughts? Okay, then we're down to other business and announcements, and that's where I had put that we were saying, we have no Firewise information, but we'll get back on that. And another announcement is that if Shannon's not going to continue with us, he has a resignation letter here, anybody that came late, and you won't be here next time, and Cindy
No,
won't.
I'll be here through December.
I understand, through,
Yeah.
for whenever they had to advertise it again, do they advertise for January 1, Allison, or what do they?
Once a quarter, do you know the schedule now?
I don't, it's like,
I can.
Well,
I can
my
check
term
that.
is up in December. I've
Your
been
term
here
is up?
2 years, so I don't know what happens, I don't know.
Does everybody have to reapply when their term is up to stay on?
Yes. Yeah, so if you want back on, then you'll need to reapply, and I can get that schedule from the city clerk. They send those announcements out when the vacancies open.
But you'll also announce to us so that we are reminded that
Yes.
anybody should reapply that wants to.
Mm-hmm.
This is just for, excuse me, can I get back to this? This is just tree awards, is that?
This is just a template, we can
Okay,
name it anything we want.
I thought we were doing
No,
landscape.
This is just something to go by that we're looking at, she's already
Okay,
just, so
yeah.
we can call
I
it.
mean, are we doing the whole
Fayetteville
landscape?
Garden Awards, the Fayetteville Tree and Plant.
We're not
whatever
doing
we want.
anything yet.
Yeah,
As
right.
far as to discuss.
I wondered if I lost something
No,
somewhere.
no, come in with some ideas, that's the whole thing, I'll just
Okay.
mark it up.
I guess
See down
okay.
there,
What's
it
our
talks
name?
about
Yeah, I
Urban
got you.
Forestry Advisory Board.
UFAB,
It's the youth.
isn't that right?
Well, I would still like us to concentrate on things other than trees. I mean, that's a really main focus of what we do, but I think landscape, landscape folks would be good to continue that.
Great, I'm glad you feel that way. But I was just getting the point out, I guess it's too soon, but be thinking about people that we need at least one more person on the board and try to find us another good one, whoever's, I don't care, just somebody who wants to help think about stuff and make it happen, kind of thing. I'm gonna do the same thing, but we have a few more months really. Oh yeah, and any other, I have one other thought just to say, but any other announcements from anyone?
I've got one, just wanted to give you a reminder that the 11 tree planting, you'll see trees starting to go up in the rights of way next month, November and December. And those are the plans that Greg brought to you guys to.
Good, yeah, I remember that.
Yep, so that contract has been approved by City Council, so that'll start next month.
Excellent.
Any progress or thoughts on what's gonna happen about the urban forestry position, just for our information?
Yes, actually, we have hired someone and they will start on Monday.
Wow.
Is that the full gamut of?
No, it's the temporary position that we talked about last month. So they'll be doing all of the planning review side of the job, which is all the developments that come in, making sure that everyone is meeting their tree preservation requirements.
So will they be at our November meeting?
Yeah, should be. Yep. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make one suggestion, and this might be spreading us too thin, so y'all can shoot me down if you want, but we've been talking for at least a year about making some sort of video about planting a tree. Do we still want to try to do that? Because we had talked about it because we were going to be planting trees, and we thought that Greg could go out and do it, or somebody could go out and as they're planting it, talk about how you plant this tree, the proper way, little techniques and things, and then have that, and then maybe put it on one of the local channels. If that seems like stretching our abilities a bit, I'm fine with that, but I just wanted to bring it up.
Well, it seems like there's bound to be something like that already out there, though. I mean, not necessarily
No,
by a
that's
local
possible.
I
person.
remember when I was first with the Master Gardeners, I put my time in by learning to use the camera, and they had us, one of the little videos they had us do was how to plant a tree properly. So, and how to grow tomatoes, things like, but I don't mean I have it. It wasn't a wonderful product or anything like that, but you're right. Maybe we could get, maybe one of the people down there that is now trying to become a camera person or a video producer, we could give them it as a project. I mean, we were always looking for things that we could do just as a project. So maybe I'd ask Prue if she knows of somebody that would like to do that. If you think it would be viewed enough, I mean, do you think people?
That's a good idea.
You think it is?
Well, I mean, I don't want to, I don't want to get us going in too many different directions. I don't want to, I don't want us to do something we can't really get accomplished because but I just bring that up because it's something we talked about last spring or something like that. I believe we were speaking about that.
Well, that'd probably be more doable than to, do our whole tree farm. I mean, that's some easier thing to do, to develop a video, to plant the tree. So that seems like that would be much easier to do than, our tree farm, as far as difficulty is. So, and I think that's a very necessary tool that we need.
The only place
Giving away all the trees, it would be really nice to have something that you can check on this website, and this is a proper way to plant the tree.
That's great. I was just saying, how are we going to get them to see this video? But you're so right. With our handout, go to this website and watch how to plant a tree. So that would be good.
I think that's a very important thing for us to
I
do.
mean, if we can get another one, I'm fine with that too. Like you said, there may be something out there that, but I just thought that was a pretty good idea.
It
That
is.
again, I don't know how the city feels about it, but you can,
Does anybody want to search the website if there's a little YouTube thing about how to plant a tree, or would you want us to try to go invent the wheel?
We
And
would have to be careful not to infringe on anybody's.
YouTube? I don't know how that works.
It may or may not be public. I mean, I don't know if it's some
If they
people
put it
that
out
just
there.
automatically public domain.
If it's on YouTube.
I think it's public.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you know?
Put it out there for people to
Well,
watch.
I know,
so you
and I know
just
that sounds stupid,
use
but I
the
mean,
word.
like, you
Yeah.
can watch a football game on Sundays, but you can't
That's different.
reuse that
That's for
without their
money.
specific, Yeah, but you never know. I just want to make sure that we don't get the city in trouble.
Allison, if we find one on YouTube or somewhere that's a good one, acceptable to the committee, will you let us post the link on on the website?
Check YouTube.
I will check with the people who make those decisions.
I will tell you this, because
The powers that be.
as a musician, there have been lots of songs and performances of mine posted on YouTube, and nobody ever got my permission, and I don't get any kind of, royalties from any views of any of that stuff. So I mean, I think it's pretty much, whatever's on YouTube is out there, and I don't think you have to get permission for anything.
No, it's incorrect.
Well, a person,
That's incorrect.
That's
a
incorrect?
person can select a type of setting on there that says it's totally public, or it's got these restrictions.
And can you read below or above it or anything to understand what?
It'll tell you.
It will tell you.
Yeah.
So we could find one that says available or something. I don't know how they, maybe.
Well, you have to be careful because even the soundtrack to the video, if they're using music,
That's true.
could
Could
be
be
intellectual
someone's-
property by somebody else.
That's true, yes,
But
yes.
Emily could sing with this video.
This is how you
Public
do it.
song she's written.
I'll do the soundtrack.
Does anybody want to go on television, on the internet and try to find such a video that to propose to us, one or two or three of them? Really?
It's simple enough if you find one, just to ask the author of that the YouTube channel.
Okay.
Usually it's gonna be on a channel.
Ah,
And ask the author, email, get their permission first.
okay.
Just Google how to plant a tree.
Right.
You'll find maybe 1,000.
I bet you, that's what I'm thinking.
You're probably right, there are probably some really good ones. So yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's go that direction first.
Okay.
Go out there and try to organize a,
A new one.
well, I mean, you got somebody out there to stand next to the tree, talk about it, and you got somebody go out there and film it, and that's always not the easiest thing.
So you're gonna look through the YouTubes and see what you come up with, is that right, Lois?
Yeah.
And report back. Okay. Then the only thing I wanted to say is that we did, the Friends of the Native Plants for Frisco Trail did meet on October 4th and 11th, the last two Tuesdays. And 8 people came the first time, and we cleared up. And Lisa Netherland, the parks horticulturist, she suggested that rather than going on up the trail where we had worked before, going up in the heavy dense part, to work back toward the beginning of the trail and through time, maybe we would have that whole side done. So as they come along the trail, they'd immediately see native plants. So we did go back. We decided it was narrower and not so dense with privets and things. We said, that's good, we can go faster. So we got a whole bunch more done, maybe 50 or 75 feet done back toward the beginning of the trail. And that was cutting them, and then Lisa came the next day and sprayed them, the cuts that we did. And then yesterday we met again, there were 5 of us there, and we put in a whole bunch, I can't even count them all, but lots and lots of shrubs. And a whole lot of Karen Rollet Crocker gave us about 25 goldenrod plants and 25 St. John Wart's plants. So those are scattered all over the place up there. And then she gave us, I think we had seeds for river oats and showy penstemon and red columbine, which we also seeded in places that we hope the mulch isn't going to be over, so they will have access to sprout and come up. And there'll be more. Lisa's given me permission to go up and put more seeds through the year if I tell her when and what I'm going to do. And that she would probably do that to anybody that's interested, if we'll channel it through me, if you have any ideas what you'd like to see on that site. And Don Steinkraus's idea, I like his idea. He said rather than, we have greenbrier, we have all those native things that are not that pleasant there, greenbrier and a lot of other yucky things. And we were hesitant to take them out, and we didn't take them out, but we want to trend toward not using common everyday native forest, but try to make it a pretty place with more interesting and showy things than you would see in just any native forest. In other words, try to
A selective
native forest that makes people more enticed toward the idea of having a native forest. So I'm trying to, instead of just grab what I can take in the future, I'm going to try to think what it'll look like and what colors it is and what does it do and all that. And if any of you have any ideas on that subject, please tell us so that we can make it a pretty place that will make people think the native forests are good things. So, and we we decided we're not gonna go any farther for a while as far as clearing out. We're gonna hone in on that side and make it better and better for a while. Then maybe sometime in the future, we'll have energy and people that wanna go farther down. But just work in the spring, maintaining that site, adding more things if we want to, and that kind of stuff. So that's the plan and what's going on with that. That's all I know. Are there any other announcements? If not, do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay.
I said.
All in favor of that motion? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Thank you, guys.